So life choices that actually mattered. To begin with, being self-taught, I was self-taught for my GCSEs and for my A-levels. I think this has had a huge impact on me in a good way. So I think because of that, that's gonna have to go into S section. This taught me so many skills, but the key skill that it taught me was being disciplined. I think it taught me just to be able to work hard, to put your head down and work, and to motivate myself and be in an environment where there's no fun. It was more or less a no fun environment. There were no classmates, there was no one to mess around with, and I did that for 2 years. But it just taught me crazy work ethic, and it definitely belongs in the S section. Quitting my job. Now this is ongoing. So far it's been great. I've learned so much. It's unbelievable how much I've learned. For the reason it's ongoing and I don't yet know the outcome, I'm gonna put it in just the question mark for now, right? I mean, when I become a proper businessman, like making good money, running a business properly, then I think that it has to go in the S section because it's just opened my eyes. Being consistent at the gym. Now, I think this is a pretty big one. Going to the gym, being consistent, at least for me, improved my life so much. Going to the gym was one of the things that allowed me to be so successful being homeschooled, because it, again, taught me that it allowed me to see quicker returns, because you don't get your results you don't take the exams for 2 years. Whereas during that time I was working out and I was seeing the results pretty quickly because I was getting newbie gains. It taught me being disciplined and achieving a goal and working through points of failure, because every day you're hitting failure. So yeah, I think that's S section, because I wouldn't be the man who I am today without having had that discipline, as well as having my self-taught discipline. Putting myself first. And it doesn't necessarily mean being selfish, because I try to be, something I'm working on is being more selfless, right? Doing more things for other people. So it doesn't mean to be selfish. When I was working full-time as an accountant, I would be in my room working, and in the kitchen next to my room, my brother would have all of our friends round, and they'd be drinking, and they'd be partying, they'd be playing poker, and I was in my room studying sometimes until late, and I would just never join them. And it is just an example of putting myself first, right? I had a goal, I knew I had to achieve that goal, and everything else came secondary. And it might not be healthy, but I definitely think it's part of why I've got so far. I think that's gonna go in the S section for me. Right, next up, not going to university. Just not going to university has allowed me to do so much. You know, it's allowed me to, so in these 3 years, I've become a chartered accountant, I earned good money, I saved a lot of money. Now I'm going to Guatemala to work, run a business from there, and, you know, potentially live my life out there. I was just thinking, like, if I'd gone to university, I would not be anywhere near where I am now. Like, right now, I'd just have come out of university, maybe still be in it. I would have all this debt, but putting aside the debt, because it's more like a tax, I would just, I wouldn't be the man who I am today. I just would not have as much lived experience. Maybe I would have partied more, but I don't even like partying. And the fact that it would have been such a terrible decision for me is why I'm gonna put in the S section. Being unnecessarily frugal. It's definitely not worth it, because the amount of money, maybe I would have spent £100 more every month, right? But by not being so frugal. But I don't care now. It doesn't make much of a difference. I'm not glad I saved that extra £100, which is why I think it's a C tier thing to do. And I do regret it. Watching YouTube videos, I think this is B tier. So what I mean by watching YouTube videos is like watching entrepreneurship videos. When you're not running a business, I used to just consume content, and I don't think it's valuable if you're doing that. Productivity systems, I think this is just C. Like, although it won't actually harm you, you've got this Pomodoro method where you set a 20-minute timer, then you take a 5-minute break, 20-minute timer, something like that. I've not really had much like success with that. I don't find it helps me. I just like to work, and I like to play it by feel. Like work or study as much as I can, and then take a break, and then work and study as much as I can. So I don't think that's helpful for me. You might say otherwise, but I don't think that's helpful for me. It hasn't been. With studying and with business, it's not been successful. Optimizing my routine, I think that might actually be A. Yeah, because having that structure, self-imposed structure, is part of being disciplined. And if you don't have that, I just think the volume of work that you can do is so minimized. And by being ruthless with my routine when I was becoming a chartered accountant, I managed to get way more revision done than I otherwise could have, right? Becoming an accountant, I think if I'd stayed in the industry, then yeah, becoming an accountant would have given me a nice pay rise and, you know, opened up opportunities for me. So it probably would have been A or S tier. But right now, it just doesn't feel, it's nice. Like, it's nice to have some letters after your name and get some credibility, if you want to call it that. But realistically, it's not that great. I think it's a bit overrated. But I'm probably only saying this because I've left the industry. Like, if I'd stayed, I'd say it's S or A. I think I'm going to put it in B, as in like neutral. It's whatever. If anything, it's a bit not neutral. It's a bit negative because I have to pay a fee, you know, every year. So, right, getting good grades. If there was something between A and B, I would put it there. I think I'm going to put it to B. I think it should be like B+, because it's not neutral. It did help me in my life, but it only helps you at a glance, right? And what I mean by that is people see on your CV, when I was getting my job initially as an accountant, they see 3 A's and they see self-taught, and immediately, firstly, it makes you stand out, and it just ticks a box, right? It means, okay, he can pass these exams for being an accountant, he's smart, he's got a baseline level of intelligence. That's it. You know, past that, I don't think it has any impact. But as long as you've got the grades and they're like not terrible, I think, you know, getting A star is a bit over, like, it doesn't, you know, when I've interviewed people myself for the accounting jobs, I've seen A star, and it's like, oh great, that's it. You know, it's nothing, it's like 5 seconds worth of like interest. So I think, for me at least, it's just a B. Saving and investing £1,000 a month. This has got to be an A. This is what you have to do, because this is what has facilitated my ability to be able to move country, right? And to be able to quit my job, to take that next step, to take a risk and do what I want to do, right? I can't tell you how miserable I would feel right now if I didn't have the money and I had to be stuck in my 9 to 5. I'd be so miserable. I'd be like, oh, I've got to work another 3 years in this slog because I don't have enough money to do what I want. Last one, leaving my religion. I think this was one of the biggest decisions I made. It just gave me full autonomy of my life. It gave me just a massive sense of like, okay, it's okay to take massive risks or massive steps in order to be 100% truthful and faithful to myself and my thoughts. Like, I don't need someone else to tell me what to think. I can think for myself, and that set me up for success, you know, at work, to get a good job. It set me up for success in my A-levels, and it's setting me up for success as an adult, trying to run my own business. So this is certainly an A. You can see here most of the decisions I've made in my life, because these all relate to me for the most part. They're all, you know, S tier, A tier decisions, with only a few of them which aren't that deep, being B and C. So I think I've done pretty well so far. We'll have to find out whether quitting my job was the right or wrong decision. But yeah, if you enjoyed that video, and you want to see more from me, you know, Jabin as a person, then yeah, feel free to subscribe, because I'm going to be around for a while. So yeah.